staying in shape is a major priority for me. I've gone through times in my life when fitness wasn't a priority and everything else just seemed to fall apart. Your relationships, your work, everything else, it just starts to go down the hill. Starting a day with a workout, it keeps me centered. It gives me a lot of energy throughout the day.
Wow.
Actually, today, we have been dating for 14 years.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. That's
Yeah.
just pure coincidence. Pure coincidence.
Crazy. Yeah. And she's awesome. She's an attorney over in Creve-Coeur, and she just like...
Well, she was the one who became a lawyer. You said that's too much work for me.
No, I'm married up for sure.
What is your prize, your crown jewel of the Christian Rhoten collection?
My groomsman got me a bottle of Glenlivet 21 year. I plan to open it when we have our first child. I'm going to open it with them.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, everybody? Dallas Amston here. Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we get to not only learn from our CFE coaches and occasionally meet some of our Glen Ed community leaders and business owners, but we also get to occasionally have conversations and meet and learn about our CFE CrossFitters. Again, I'm your co-host, Dallas Amston. I'm a presentation and digital content consultant for business owners and entrepreneurs who are battling brand obscurity, and I help them create clear messaging that amplifies their authority and helps them convert more clients. In short, I help you communicate to succeed. And as always, I am joined by the incomparable Greg, Coach G Skell, the CEO and GM of CrossFit Edwardsville. And G Skell, how the heck are you, man?
I'm feeling good today. Got a good workout done. Body feels good. I'm excited about this. This podcast has been a long time coming. We today have the opportunity to interview one of CrossFit Edwardsville's true badasses, one of the morning CrossFitters, Christian Rhoten. Christian, welcome to the CFE Community Podcast.
Thanks, G. Thanks, Dallas. Looking forward to it.
Christian officially became part of our CrossFit Edwardsville community on June 3rd of 2013. And according to our Zen Planner system, as of yesterday, he has 1,331 confirmed CrossFit workouts under his belt. In 2021, he was in the top 10% of the CrossFit world, qualified for the second level, that next phase of the CrossFit Games season, which was awesome.
I feel like that should be accompanied with like a do-do-do-do celebration horn or something.
Make that a lower third. Add that to the resume, Christian.
Right.
Yeah, so today we get to learn a little bit more about Christian, the CrossFitter, and I'll go ahead and say it. We get to learn about the man behind the legend.
Jeez.
So Christian, I'm going to go ahead and break the ice here, and let's start with an easier question. With over 1,300 CrossFit WODs under your belt, congratulations on that, by the way. You clearly have some perspective. What would you say is your all-time favorite CrossFit workout, or workouts, I should maybe say? Yeah,
I've got a couple of them that kind of come to mind. I'm really a big fan of long high rep chippers. So something like Filthy 50 is right in my wheelhouse. I love doing that. It's not too complicated and you're just kind of racing the clock. Some other ones that I really like, anything with gymnastics. The open workout 15.3 had ring muscle ups, dubs, and wall balls. So again, just kind of grinding through it. It was a pretty long workout if I remember. Some of the girl workouts that I really enjoy, I like doing Annie because I really like doing dubs, sit-ups. Again, it's still kind of that gymnastics, longer kind of workout. And then Nancy is one I've done, I feel like I've done Nancy 500 times. It used to be a lot of fun, and now it's not as fun because it's I just go the exact same time every single time I do it. I'm I can't go faster in this workout, So those are kind of the few that stand out to me as really in my wheelhouse workouts that I like to do.
No, I find this fascinating because I've noted that. So you're not wrong about Nancy. That workout, which if you're not familiar, our audience here, if you're not familiar, Nancy is 5 rounds of 15 overhead squats and a 400-meter run. We have done that workout many, many times. It's one of those workouts that helps you build your engine, helps you build flexibility and stability through the entire body. It's good for you as an athlete, good for you as a person, and we've done it so many times. I will say one of the downsides, Christian, to repeating benchmark workouts is sometimes the only way to go faster is just to dig deeper and suffer better. On that topic, by the way, this is interesting. I don't know if you watched the podcast with Sir Randy Lemon, the mayor of CrossFit Edwardsville, but he listed the Filthy 50 as his least favorite workout of all time.
It's funny.
Good time. So then, Christian, like, what is the hardest workout you ever done, or what workouts come to mind when you say that was one of the toughest things I've ever done as a CrossFitter?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you could ask this question to any CrossFitter, and they might say Fran. I like doing pull-ups and I like doing thrusters, but man, when you do them at that high intensity and you get that Fran lung, it just like destroys you for the rest of like the week. So that one is obviously a really tough one. I don't really ever want to do Fran again. Maybe whenever it comes up, I'm like, oh, here we go again.
I'm with you on that 1,000%.
Yeah. 19.5 was a workout with thrusters and chest to bar. And it was like a 20-minute long workout. And I remember doing it and I couldn't raise my arms above my head for like 2 weeks. I mean, my lats were just
the lats were so stiff.
Yeah, my lats were blown out. So that one was really, really hard. I don't like dumbbells at all. Dumbbell thrusters or those dumbbell box step overs are just brutal. They seem like they're getting heavier. I feel like we've kind of gone from like 50s to start. We're doing 60s now. And I'm like, come on, guys. The dumbbells are already really heavy. And more recently, my least favorite workout in the last year is that one where we did like 105 pull-ups and running because my arm, again, couldn't straighten out. I thought I had rhabdo. Like I was done.
I think everybody in the entire community was feeling that 3-4 days later still.
I
still had the T-Rex arms.
I still can't do pull-ups. Like I can do them, but it's not the same.
I think, that workout was memorable. It was so simple. Like it's workout. It doesn't look like much on paper, but those workouts were just a simple combination of movement A, movement B. They're so potent, or as we put it around here, they're effective. That one, that was effective.
Yes, very much so.
So Dallas, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So Christian, you mentioned some of the more gymnastic stuff. What would you say when you see certain exercises or certain WODs show up that you get super excited about that programming? What might be some of those other movements?
Yeah. So like ring muscle ups, I really like doing ring muscle ups. I actually got a ring muscle up before I got a bar muscle up, which it was kind of random. I just tried it one day and was able to do it way before I could do a bar muscle up. But I love doing ring muscle ups. I like handstand push-ups, dubs. As far as a barbell goes, I really like Olympic lifting movements, snatch and clean and jerk. Thrusters, I don't mind thrusters. A lot of people really, really don't like them. They don't bother me too much. So I
feel like such an odd man out. I love thrusters. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're not.
Julie Seven says the same thing, and I find that, you know what? I think thrusters are never as bad as we make them out to be in our heads. Like we think about the workouts, thrusters and pull-ups, it sounds terrible. The thrusters are the easier part of Fran, I would maintain. You guys agree? Yeah.
100%.
Like I feel like in my head, like thrusters are always like so tough. When I actually like go through the workout, it's like, it was tough, but it wasn't anywhere near how I'd built it up in my head to be. It's not like that. Interestingly, so Christian, if you're one of the people that got ring muscle ups before bar muscle ups, you're probably an OG CrossFitter, because back when we started doing CrossFit, bar muscle ups weren't really a thing. That came along later. So if you wanted to get a ring, if you wanted to get a muscle up at all in CrossFit world, when we first started doing this, it was ring only. There was only option. There was no other way in. It was crazy because I could do ring muscle ups way before I could do bar muscle ups too.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. I didn't know that The bar muscle up wasn't a thing at the start of it. Well, so
Yep.
Christian, speaking of going back in time and thinking about stuff that didn't exist years ago, we would love for you to share your story of how did you first find out about us,
Yeah.
in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. So I was working at the YMCA, where I worked from ages like 15 to, mid 20s. And I had a good friend. His name was Shane O'Brien. And he was a member and I think coach for a while for CFE. And he was into CrossFit. I mean, he was 100% CrossFitter. And he would come in and he'd talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, come on. That's got to be like a fad workout thing. Like it's going to fade off. And he's like, no, this is real. It's got like, this is it. This is going to happen. It's that's all there is. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. So he offered, actually, he said, look, if you come try it, I will pay half of your onboarding fee. So he did. I came in and he paid for half of my onboarding and I did it. And then really since then it's been, full steam ahead. I really fell in love with it. And it was something that really fit into my life well.
That's awesome, man. So like being one of the CrossFitters been with us for quite a while, as you look back, like what are some of your favorite memories from the early days? Like memories of yourself, other CrossFitters, Katie when she got started in CrossFit, our friend Dana Caton when he started here, like me, Coach Caroline, workouts. Like when you think back, like what's some of your fondest CrossFitter memories? Yeah,
I think the first FTME competition, it really stands out as a great time that we had. Got to get together with a lot of the local CrossFitters, and it was the first competition I'd ever done. And I was partnered up with my good friend Dana and another guy named Cody, and we actually we went scale, but we ended up podium second place, I think, and that was a lot of fun. I've done more FTMEs since. The second one we did, we went RX, and that was not fun at all. Do not recommend.
To any of our audience uninitiated, FTME, the fittest team in the Metro East competition. It's a 3-person, 3 guys or 3 gals team competition that for several years we hosted at CFE. Christian was part of some of the FTME events. Always epic memories from those. But I digress. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I do not recommend going RX in a CrossFit competition unless you are ready for it to hurt. Scaled is fun. RX is another level. You're with guys who are different than you are. So that was a great memory. I remember there was a time it must have been in the first year or two that I was CrossFitting. Me and Dana had this thing where we were going to come in during open gym times and try and do every girl WOD. Like we would just come in and be like, okay, we're starting with A's. So Angie, let's go down the list. And we got through like, I don't know, maybe half of them before, we were like, well, we don't want to do that one. And that one looks kind of bad. I don't know about that one.
I remember this.
Yeah. Yeah. We were going to do them all, but
So in CrossFit world, to our audience here in CrossFit world, we name our workouts. Many of the most effective, let's put it that way, workouts that we have are named after girls. And what Dana and Christian did was they took the list of workouts, Annie, Angie, Amanda, and just worked their way down this list, which if you're a CrossFitter, you can appreciate the sheer balls it takes.
I was going to say the insanity.
It's a hell of an accomplishment to get through a lot of these workouts just by themselves, to get through it, at the highest level, to do it as written, right? Obviously, in our CrossFit world, we make adjustments to workouts and exercises so that no matter what your fitness level is, it can be accessible to you and you can have a winnable battle every single day. Christian and Dana were taking the hardest possible variations of these workouts and doing them exactly as written in their hardest possible variation.
I'll just go ahead and say right now, I'd love to see a CrossFit Games called A to Z, and it's just nothing but that.
Yeah,
that would be brutal and awesome at the same time.
That would be.
What other memories come to mind, Christian?
Yeah, I really have good memories. I'm obviously been an AM athlete since the beginning. It just is when I prefer to work out. I feel the best and all that. and the 6 a.m. crew that, definitely pre-pandemic when the 5:45 and the 6:30 crew were all smushed into one. That was just a great, group of people to be in. And we kind of had a reputation for being ridiculously energetic output that we're,
charismatic, Christian.
Yeah.
Very charismatic group.
Something like that. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun with those guys, and I still see them and we work out together once in a while. So I just have some great memories of every morning working out with those crazy guys.
Awesome. And we get to smush the 5:45 and 6:30ers back together starting about a week and a half from now. So
yeah, that's happening.
That'll be good stuff.
It'll be interesting
to see how they've grown, how the two cultures have separated a little bit.
Yeah.
So what are some of your wildest, craziest, or funniest memories of CFE?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this, and I vividly remember it was a Tuesday morning. It had to have been 2 or 3 years ago because Coach Jason Davis was here, and he only coached on Tuesdays. And me and Josh Wadle were in this mood where we were going to just goof off. There was no way we were actually going to do what Jason wanted, and we knew we could get under his skin. So he was like, okay, you guys are going to take off, run in the 400 loop. And we're like, what's a 400 loop? Where do I go? And we started running around and stuff. And he just got so flustered. Eventually at the end of the workout, he was like, okay, you guys just are doing burpees for 10 minutes. He's just like, I'm done. 2 burpees. It's over. It was all, good fun. But I just remember that as being one of the most fun, workouts, even though it was really not that hard of a workout because we goofed off the whole time. But just really the relation, it's like the relationships that you build with the people that, I would have never met any of the people at the gym otherwise maybe. So it's kind of cool that throughout the last, 8 years that you kind of get to know these people and they become part of your life that otherwise you never would have crossed paths. Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things about CrossFit.
Well, and like you said there, Christian, you've been here for just over 8 years, 1,300 plus WODs at this point. And I think you just hinted at one thing here, but what really keeps you coming back to CFE?
Yeah, there's definitely multiple things that keep me coming back. So the people and the coaches are absolutely part of it. Having the community is a big thing. It keeps you motivated when you don't want to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. And you're like, well, so-and-so is going to be there today, so I should go today because I might not see them because they don't go on this day. So there's that. For me, having a routine and having something that I do every morning is very, very important to me. I'm a creature of habit for sure. So I actually feel worse on days when I don't work out in the morning than days when I do. I just am sluggish and it's different. So
yes,
I love having the routine and it keeps me going no matter what. Even if I don't want to get up, I'm like, well, it's what I do now. I just get up and go to the gym. I also think that the constantly varied workouts, something new every single day, something that I might not have done or that I haven't done in that order or that distance or something like that, it always keeps it exciting. I never gets boring and it's always challenging. Yeah. So I think that's probably what keeps me coming back to CFE.
I love that answer. One of the things I remember, G, when you and I talked about this not too long ago, for me, it was the variation as well in the workouts. Sure. I love that. I love the fact that I wasn't like, oh, well, now it's, back and by, chest and try, leg day. And it just gets boring and unrelenting in the similarity. And there's always something different. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that too. Well, I'll ask you this question and then G, we'll toss it to you to actually talk a little bit about the man behind the legend, but kind of related to that, what keeps you coming back to CFE? What would you say, Christian, are some of the benefits to doing CrossFit for you personally? How has it changed the way you look, the way you feel, the way you perform as an athlete, as a man, as a spouse? What have been some of the benefits for you?
Yeah, the major benefit for me is the fitness. I grew up as an athlete. I swam competitively for 16 years of my life. And when you do something for that long, it really becomes ingrained as part of who you are. And when you don't have something, a lot of other things fall apart if you don't have that one thing. So staying in shape is a major priority for me. I've gone through times in my life when fitness wasn't a priority and everything else just seemed to fall apart, right? I mean, your relationships, your work, everything else, it just starts to go down the hill. So starting a day with a workout, it keeps me centered. It gives me a lot of energy throughout the day. As I mentioned, I feel awful when I don't work out in the mornings. And then as a coach, I'm a swim coach for the high school and a local club team. And I feel like my doing CrossFit helps me kind of connect with my athletes because I'm asking them to do something that's very challenging physically every single day. So I can kind of say like, look, I do know where you're at. I'm not just saying I know. I've been there. I was there this morning. This is what I tried to do, and this is how I approached it, and this is how I got through it. So it's definitely helped me in my professional life, being able to connect with my athletes, and then also just recognizing good movement. So like for swimming, they swim every day, but we also do what's called dry land training, which is cross conditioning, things like that. And I'm able to recognize like a good squat. Like I know what to look for with movement. And that's been very beneficial just as a coach in my profession.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And you referenced how like being an athlete has been it's a very big part of who you are, your identity, right? We've noticed that like for almost our ideal client avatar is formerly in athletics, often currently in athletics of some sort, right? Like they were in soccer, they were in baseball, they were runners, they were weightlifters, and they come to us because they need a new thing to fill that gap when they graduate from their sport, right? Mm-hmm. But we want to hear more about young Christian Rhoten of times past, right? So we want to get to the man behind the legend. So Christian, tell us about your upbringing, your childhood, like where you're from, what your family was like, any special memories that really shaped you as a person.
Yeah, for sure. So I was born and raised in Edwardsville, about 5 miles down the road from CFE. I went to Edwardsville schools my whole life, graduated from Edwardsville High School in 2009. So I'm Edwardsville here. Yeah, I'm a Tiger, and I'm working for the Tigers now. So it's been a long time Edwardsville resident. I started swimming competitively at age 5 for the YMCA. I continued to swim competitively through the age of 22 in college. So competitive swimming was a big part of my life as an athlete, and now it is also a part of my life because I'm coaching now. Mm-hmm. At age 15, I started lifeguarding and teaching swim lessons at the YMCA. That really, I didn't know it at the time, but it was very formative for me because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of thought about being a lawyer, which I definitely am glad I did not do that because it is so much more work than I'm willing to do. But I kind of realized like I really like teaching. Like I like to help kids and kind of help them through whatever they're learning, right? So I found a passion for instruction at the YMCA doing swim lessons, and I found that I was able to do that really well, and that led me to going to Eastern Illinois University. I graduated in 2013 with a degree in elementary education. So that the whole teaching thing started when I was 15. Wow. And that was really formative for me back then. So yeah, after I was graduated from Eastern, came back home and got a job here, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Other things about my family, my mom was born and raised in Edwardsville as well. She still lives in Edwardsville. My grandmother lives in Edwardsville. So we're kind of an old Edwardsville, not as old as some, but kind of an older Edwardsville family. My grandfather worked for Edwardsville High School back in the day. My grandmother, who's 94, 95, still works for Edwardsville High School.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's astonishing.
She still works. She like takes tickets and does like security at like the football and basketball games.
Wow.
So, that's amazing. Yeah. I think I've seen you kind of feature her on the socials. Like she's a very active woman, right?
She's super active. She like walks on her treadmill for an hour a day. She rides her stationary bike. Like, she's always outside gardening. Like, she does not slow down. Actually, her and my mom are visiting some other family in Ohio right now, just like wanted to get up and go. So they took off. She's always on the move.
That's
I think
awesome.
we may know where Christian got his legendary engine from.
I was going to say, yeah.
Could be.
Christian is famous here at CFE for having a hell of a motor like that. He's got a very deep gas tank cardio-wise.
The years of swimming helped that.
Sure.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit more then, Christian. I mean, obviously, you talked a little bit about your career and your family there, especially growing up. But what about your family now? Tell us about your wife and all of that fun stuff, and maybe some of your future family aspirations.
Sure. Yeah. So I met my wife, Katie, when we were both at the YMCA as lifeguards. We met when we were 15 years old.
Wow.
Actually, today, we have been dating for 14 years. We've been together for 14 years today.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude. That's
Yeah.
just pure coincidence.
That
Pure
is
coincidence.
Crazy. Yeah. So I met her as a lifeguard there, and we became friends. And then eventually we both went to Eastern Illinois, and then we got married in June of 2015. So she's awesome. She's an attorney over in Creve Coeur, and she just like
So she was the one who became a lawyer. You said that's too much work for me.
Yeah. No, I'm married up for sure. There's no doubt about it. She just kills it at her job. She's incredibly hardworking. She's just a rock star. Other than that, she actually just started CrossFitting again with us recently. She was at the gym this morning, and she's been going for a few months now. And she's really liking it. She's all in on it. So it's so awesome we get up and do something together.
Yeah,
sure.
The rest of the day apart. Like, we both work crazy hours. I'm at the pool till 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. She gets home and we get a couple hours before bed, but it's nice to be able to spend time with each other doing something we both enjoy in the mornings. So that's been really awesome to get to do that. We have 2 dogs, Bodie and Sadie. They keep us busy. They're nutcases. Other than that, future family aspirations, I'm excited to start a family with her at some point. We've been taking our time on that front for sure, just because we both are super busy and we didn't want to rush into anything, but it's definitely it's in the future plans for sure.
That's great, man. So tell us about like career and hobbies outside the gym, like what you like to do for fun besides fitness, or friends. Tell us about your friends.
For sure. So I mentioned this already.
Shout outs. We get
I mentioned this
some
already.
shout outs here.
Okay. I mentioned this already, but I work at the Edwardsville High School as I have a kind of a multi-part job. So I'm the assistant aquatics director of the Chuck Fruit Aquatic Center, which is a state-of-the-art pool natatorium that opened in 2014. We hold anywhere between like 8 and 12 really big swim meets throughout the year, and probably another 10 kind of smaller ones. We're busy all the time here on weekends. I'm also the coach for the Edwardsville High School boys and girls swim and dive teams. And we just started my eighth season as a team a couple days ago. Other than that, I also help to coach the local swim team, Metro East Titans Swimming. That's a new club team that just started up, so I'm involved with that as well. I was lucky enough that after I graduated in 2013, I came home and literally stepped into my dream job. The pool opened. The pool opened the summer I came home, and I was
That's awesome.
That's great.
It was just like, it couldn't have been a better timing for me. I absolutely love working here. I love working with the athletes. It's absolutely a dream come true, job wise. Other than that, I teach some lifeguarding courses. I've been a lifeguard since age 15, and I've been a lifeguard instructor for the last probably 6 or 7 years. So I teach probably 3 or 4 lifeguarding classes a year. I do some private swim instruction. with some of the local kids. And then other than that, I like to read. I read every night. I read before I go to sleep. Sometimes it's like a paragraph, but I do read.
That was me last night.
Yeah. Well, last night I didn't even read. I didn't even open my book. I just went to sleep because I was so wiped. But usually I do read before I go to bed. Me and Katie both like to watch TV. We're digging our way through Outer Banks season 2, which is awesome. We really like watching TV together. That's kind of one of our hobbies. Other than that, I collect bourbon and beer, and I enjoy to drink.
Is that right?
I enjoy drinking bourbon and beer. Yeah, that's one of my hobbies.
All right.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, I kind of hunt around for some of the harder to find stuff, and that kind of thing.
What's your favorite just like go to $40 to $50 bottle
of bourbon?
Yeah. What's your like go to, sits nicely on the shelf and it's always a solid delivery?
Can I find it easly or like
you could find it easily.
Okay, so if someone was like, hey, I want to go get a bottle of bourbon, I don't really drink that much, what could I get? I would say Russell's Reserve 10-year is like a $36.99 bottle. It's really, really good. It's good on the palate for a lot of people who aren't like, into it that much. They just wanted something good to drink. So yeah, Russell Reserve 10-year is probably my first bourbon that I was like,
We're just always looking for sponsors for the podcast. So I'm going to have you name like 3 or 4 so we can approach them.
Yeah.
Russell's Reserve, shout out.
Yeah.
College boys.
Sure.
What's your favorite item for your collection? What is your prize, like your crown jewel of the Christian Rhoten collection?
If I'm talking whiskey, I don't drink a lot of scotch, but for my bachelor party, my groomsmen got me a bottle of Glenlivet 21-year, which I have not opened yet. I plan to open it when we have our first child. Is like I'm going to open it with them. Like I'm going to go see each of them and like have a pour with each of them. So that's probably the one. Yeah, that's a cool bottle to have and to kind of let sit for a while. That I haven't opened it yet, but that's a pretty cool one to have.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I need to go back a second in the conversation. What type of books do you read? Like you say you like to read in the evening. What's your genres? Yeah,
so I will read some like biographies. I like history, so I've read like the book Alexander Hamilton that the play was based off of. That was a really interesting read. Another one was like I think George Washington was by the same author, and I'm reading Team of Rivals right now, which is about Lincoln. So I like to read about history, but if I'm reading for like just pleasure, I really like long book series. Like I want to have a lot to read. So I've read Game of Thrones straight through. I've read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which is like 8 or 9 books. Right now I'm knee deep into The Wheel of Time, which is like a fantasy 15-book saga, and they're all like 1,000-page books. So I just like I don't want to feel like I'm getting done with the book. Like I want there to be a lot.
It's like saying goodbye to a friend.
Yeah, no,
you finish a good book.
Right. So I like books that are like really in depth and you can read for a long time and just kind of dig in.
Yeah.
So that's usually what I'll read. It's probably more so fantasy, sci-fi kind of stuff if I'm reading for fun.
Yeah. The book that put me to sleep last night after a few paragraphs was a biography on Theodore Roosevelt. So same with you. I like the fantasy novels. Game of Thrones is sitting there on the shelf. It's next in line. But this Theodore Roosevelt, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go to sleep. Let's read something about him.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I want to do a little shout out to my boy Josh Turner, one of our CrossFitters here. His taste in reading is very, very much like yours, Christian. Big shout out. So if you ever, if you find yourself sharing a bourbon with Josh Turner, you guys can talk biographies and histories. He's all about it, man. He's got some really cool stuff to share.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So now, bring it back to workouts, Christian. At CFE here, you're very well known for having exceptional mental toughness. We regard you as being one of the mentally toughest CrossFitters we know. Are there any mantras or mottos that guide you in our WODs, our CrossFit WODs?
I love this question.
Or
Yeah.
any phrases you repeat to yourself during WAS to calm your mind and nerves, or any internal dialogue that you like to lean on, like philosophies that guide you when you're going into a super tough workout. Like, tell us about those.
For sure. So I had to kind of think about this question because I don't actively have anything that I'm like, okay, here comes a workout, say this. Like, I kind of had to think about, what do I think about before a workout? Probably the number one thing I do is think, if it's something really daunting and scary, I'm like, think of something you've done that was worse. Like, if you could get through whatever you've got through before, you can definitely do this, right? So there's always something worse. So I usually I'm like, well, I could do that, so I guess I can probably do this, right?
Yeah.
That's what I do pre-WOD. A major fault of mine is going out too hot. I mean, I am like sprinting from the beginning, and it has caught up to me more times than I can count with John Gaffner, who will just like jog the first 800 of a workout. And then he's like crushing me by the end because he's like, you shouldn't have sprinted the first 800. And I'm like, yep, I know. So I've been trying to really slow down and just like be calm and comfortable on the first whatever round of a workout, and then kind of build into more of an aggressive pace near the end. A couple other things. When I'm resting, I count the seconds that I'm resting, because I found in the past that I will just stare at the barbell and just like not pick it up. So I feel like if I'm counting, I'm at least like holding myself accountable to like, okay, it's been 10 seconds. Like, you need to pick up the barbell at some point.
Yeah.
The major thing I've started doing lately, which has been super helpful, is when I'm doing like high rep stuff, I'll count down instead of up. I read that when I was looking up tips to do the workout. I forget what it's called. It's the one where you do the 45 barbell thrusters, you do 50 barbell thrusters at just the bar, and then 30 pull-ups. It's a girl WOD.
Jackie.
Jackie. Yeah.
It's a 1,000-meter row, 50 empty bar thrusters, 30 pull-ups.
Yeah. So I was looking up like tips on like how to do good at Jackie because I was, nerding out on CrossFit stuff. And the suggestion was like, count down do a set of 15 and count down from 15 to 1, count down from 10 to 1 3 times, and then all you have left is 5 reps, and you can do 5 reps, right? So counting down was so much more helpful because I felt like every time I did a rep, it's like, well, I have less to go now. I have less to go. And it just is a different frame of mind. So anytime I'm doing high rep stuff, I start counting down instead of up. And then the last thing is I'm always focused on my breathing. I think it comes from swimming, because if you aren't focused on your breathing when you swim, you'll die, like actually die. So when I run, I have like a very rhythmic breathing. Anytime I'm doing like any cardio, like rowing, I'm very focused on my breathing. And I think that kind of helps me, just keep breathing in check and keep moving.
I like that. I've been listening to a lot. Are you guys familiar with Rickson Gracie, the jiu-jitsu essentially master?
I know him just because of the last name.
The name Gracie. He's in the Gracie family. He's one of the original gangsters of the original gangsters, and he credits learning how to properly breathe and how to truly control his breathing as being a turning point as a martial artist for him. And he's one of the greatest of all time. I have never seen him lose. I do know that he has confirmed over 400 consecutive victories against world-class competition. 400 consecutive victories. 400-0. You think about that. That's astonishing. If you guys have never seen the documentary Choke, you can find it on YouTube. It's fascinating. But anyway, he's one of the true pioneers, thought leaders in jiu-jitsu, which therefore makes him one of the pioneers and thought leaders in MMA. And he speaks to this as it's a cornerstone of being a great athlete, is learning how to effectively breathe. So I find it fascinating. This kind of came tied in with that. So before we get off the top, sorry, go ahead, Dallas.
Well, no, go ahead, G.
So any other mantras or mottos or philosophies that guide you in life, Christian? If so, what are they?
I stole this from Frazier unabashedly, but hard work pays off. I think that's true in everything that we do. Like, it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It could be, if you want to work hard at learning jiu-jitsu, like, you got to work hard at it. If you want to get better at public speaking, like, you have to work hard at it. And I think that we can really accomplish anything as long as we're willing to do the work that it takes to accomplish. That's where a lot of people fall short, is do I really want to do all the things it's going to take to accomplish what I want to accomplish? I try and instill that in my athletes. Probably my favorite saying ever is, everybody wants the bacon, but nobody wants to kill the pig. Right? Everyone wants the success, but nobody wants to, like, do the things it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
So
Eric Thomas puts it this way. He said, everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, same idea. So that's just kind of something that, like, I definitely focus on throughout all facets of my life. Like, things take hard work, and if you're willing to put in the work, you can achieve it.
That's good,
Cool.
man. So
Go ahead,
let me ask you here, Christian. What are some other secrets or suggestions that you would have for someone who wants to maintain a high level of fitness and a CrossFit lifespan, or maybe a better way to put this is, what are some of your keys to longevity?
Yeah.
Other than breathing, obviously, you mentioned.
Yeah, you got to breathe. That's
gotta
good.
breathe. But what are some of the other keys to longevity that you've discovered?
Really listening and taking care of yourself, like listening to your body and taking care of yourself, and don't be afraid to take the rest day when you really need to rest. Having started CrossFit at 22, coming off of a 16-year competitive swimming career, I was already in pretty good cardiovascular shape. My body, I had, been working out throughout my whole life. And I was able to just, like, go, like, multiple workouts a day. Didn't faze me. I'm 30 years old now, and I know that there are a lot of people at CFE who are a lot older than me, and shout out to all the masters athletes who, like, routinely kick my ass every single day. But man, it takes so much more time to recover from, like, even a little minor injury. Like, you tweak your hamstring, or, like, I fell snowboarding earlier this year, and it was like a month and a half of, like, how am I not over this injury yet?
Yeah.
So just listening to your body, staying consistent with working out is another thing. I don't always want to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym, but if you're consistent with it, you'll kind of build up that the base that you need to kind of do everything else. You can't come for a week and then take a week off and then go for 2 weeks and then be off for a month. Like, you're just restarting every time you do that. So if you can be consistent with attendance and effort level, you kind of build up a base to build on for a really long time. Be my two keys to longevity.
Yeah, I love that consistency one. Yeah, that's really good. G, do you want to ask the next question? I know this is one of your fave questions, or do you want to wait and save that to the last question? I know there's a few more.
Yeah, I want to move this question back one spot, because I feel like this is the question I'm going to ask, that what's the number one mistake that Christian sees newbie CrossFitters making? I feel like it ties in more neatly with what we're just talking about. So what is it, Christian? As you see people that they start CrossFit, what is the number one newbie mistake?
Definitely not taking time to perfect technique and movement before adding weight. Like, I did it when I first started. I was like, yeah, let's go. Put more weight on the bar. I'll squat it. Let's go. I don't care about my technique. And those PRs, man, they come so quick when you first get started. Like, you're hitting a PR every single time you touch a barbell, and it's so exciting. And you're like, I just got a PR. I got to get stronger. It shows that you're improving, but there will come a time when you can't just rely on, like, your natural ability to get better. Like, you have to focus on technique at some point. And if you don't do it early, it takes so much more time and effort to fix bad habits than it does just to learn it right the first time. So like the first time you do a clean, don't put any weight on the bar until you actually know what you're doing and you're doing it right, at least close to right, and then go from there. It's just so hard to fix bad habits, and I see it with swimming too. Like if I have a senior in high school who like has a bad habit they learned when they were 5 and they've been doing it like that for the last 13 years. I'm like, we could fix this, but it's going to take a year of us working on it to fix what has already been done. So definitely just take your time and learn the correct movement and learn what it looks like and learn what it feels like, and then start adding weight. And I think newbies would see a lot more success if they were able to do that.
I dig it. Absolutely. So bring it back to you, Christian. Like, what is your number one goal in fitness right now?
My goals, I was thinking about this. My goals have definitely changed over the past 8 years. When I first started, it was stay in shape, get back in shape, from the, swimming career that I had. And then the time when I wasn't focused on fitness. And so I was just like, all right, just get back in shape. And then it became definitely competitive, with FTME, going to some more competitions. We went to the one up in Decatur, D-Town Throwdown.
Throwdown.
Yeah. So it became competitive for sure. I felt like pre-COVID, I was definitely in competitive mode. Post-COVID, I probably wasn't until the Open this past year when I decided I was going to be competitive again. So the Open was an awesome experience. I feel like I definitely pushed myself way farther than I thought I could go. Like in some of the workouts, I was in a place mentally that I had not been before. Yeah. Where I was able to like hang on to that dumbbell and not put it down, because I knew if I put it down, Greg was going to beat me. So I had to hang on to the dumbbell. So now after the Open, I've had a couple injuries with the snowboarding, and then we were in a car accident. Everyone is okay, thankfully. But like after that, right now, I'm just kind of in maintain and have fun mode. I think that come next Open, I might get more competitive again about it. But right now it's just kind of like maintain, have fun, stay fit, just enjoy the process.
Sure. Dallas, I will save my question for last. You can go ahead and ask one if you like.
Well, sure. So Christian, as you're looking ahead in life, you just said maintain, have fun. But when you look ahead, not just in fitness, but in life in general, what most excites you about the future? What are you kind of most looking forward to at the moment?
Yeah, without a doubt, starting a family with Katie. It's something that has been on our minds. We've been kicking around. So I think that's going to be a major life change for me eventually. And it's scary, but it's exciting at the same time. So that's really the big thing on the horizon. I'm looking forward to getting back to like just normal, if you can say anything normal. Like, for example, like our high school team, we have a 14-week season, which is what it usually is. Last year, we got to have an 8-week season, and there were all these. Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to like a little bit more consistency and routine and normalcy. Hopefully we can keep things a little bit normal here. We're seeing where things go with COVID and that kind of stuff. But really looking forward to just like settling down and being secure in our jobs and in our family life, and just kind of moving forward on all fronts.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, G, you want to ask him the big question, the last one? I know you love it.
Almost. So
almost.
Randy Lemon, the infamous Randy Lemon, he's weighed in, and he had a question so he asked, what's your all-time favorite workout? We talked about that. He also asked, what motivates you? I don't know if we've necessarily touched this. Like, what is your reason why, Christian? What is it what's like deep down inside of you, the reason why you push yourself in fitness and all that?
Well, I think that's kind of a two-part answer. Deep down, like in my gut, what motivates me is like just wanting to be the best version of myself. So I want to be, if I can get in better shape, if it helps my daily life, all that kind of stuff, I just want to be the best version of myself that I can be. On the daily though, without a doubt, it's competitive with other people at the gym. Like I check sugar WOD probably 10 times a day. And most of the time it's like, I check in, I put my score in. After the next class ends, I check that class. I check after the noon classes. I check after the PM classes. Like, I just love the competitiveness of it, you know? Like I want to.
You know what you should do is like you should pull a Randy or a G and just start liking everybody's shit right off the bat.
I have done that. I have started liking a lot of people's stuff just because like I really like it when I log in and see someone has given me a fist bump. So I'm like, well, why not, spread the wealth and give other people fist bumps. So yeah, it's definitely on the daily. It's a competitive thing for me, without a doubt. And I know it is for other people too. Like I know they're checking too, which makes it kind of fun.
For sure. Kyle Carey stepped into the office earlier today, and he said his question for you is, how are you so damn good at gymnastics?
It took a lot of work to be good at gymnastics. Like it was something I enjoyed doing, so I was happy to work on it. But like butterfly pull-ups, I worked on butterfly pull-ups every day for like probably 3 months before I really even got the rhythm. So it was just a lot of work that I put in to be good at it. And I'm okay with it because I like the work. Like I enjoy working on it. Other than that, I think that the fact that I'm a pretty lightweight person compared to like some of the other guys who can lift a lot more heavy than I can, like I lends myself to gymnastics because body weight is easier for me to move than it is for someone who is, got a lot more muscle mass. So I think naturally I kind of lend towards it, but I really just like doing the work.
Cool, man. All right, last question we have for you, Christian. If you could make one statement to the world, what would it be? Or to put it another way, if you had to choose one thing to say on a billboard that'd be seen by thousands or millions of people, what would that billboard say?
I thought about this one a lot, and what I came up with was choose something you're passionate about and pursue it with everything you have. Don't waste time and effort on things you aren't actually passionate about. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that they're passionate about something, but they actually aren't. Like, you don't actually want to do the thing you're trying to do because you're half-assing everything about it. So, like, don't half-ass anything. Like, pick something you're actually interested in and go for it with, like, everything you possibly can.
I love it, dude.
I love that. I, not to make light of that, but I saw a quote one time that said, don't half-ass anything. If everything, be a full ass. With everything you do, just be an ass. Don't be a half-ass.
Whole ass or none at all.
Oh, Christian, that's really good, man. I'll just say it first. I know G's going to say it as well here, but man, we always appreciate you. Appreciate the fact that you are this silent motivator in the gym. You're like one of these heroes that people look to and go, what was Christian's score? They look on the whiteboard. What was Christian's score, etc. But I always appreciate when I get to watch. I can see the wheels turning during workouts and pre-workouts and things like that too. So I appreciate the standard that you set for yourself and for others in the gym. So thank you for the conversation today, man. Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Greg, thanks for picking your passion and pursuing it with everything you have. This is, this is your baby and it's awesome. So I'm proud to be a part of it.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for that. If any of our listeners want to learn more about CrossFit, check out CrossFitEdwardsville.com. You can also find us on the socials, Instagram, Facebook at CrossFit Edwardsville. You can sign up for a no sweat conversation with a coach. That leads into our first class experiences here at CFE. So check it out, learn more about CFE, and we look forward to meeting you and talking to you. Christian, one last time, thanks to you, my dude, for all that you are, all that everything you are to CFE here. We appreciate you. Guys, have an amazing, beautiful, and blessed day. Dallas, go ahead and give us the sign off.
As always, have a championship day.